10 years after the Second World War, an American researcher enters a schoolyard to recruit 22 boys for his experiment to uncover the mysteries of human conflict. If his 3 interventions are to work, they expect to stop forces of more than 10 million soldiers. The researcher Muzafer Sherif advertises a 3-week-long summer camp for 12-year-old boys in schools around Oklahoma. After enrolling 22 kids, 2 school buses drive them to the 200-acre Boy Scouts of America camp, and the experiment begins. At the camp, the kids are divided into 2 groups, the Rattlers and the Eagles. The Rattlers are dropped off at the North Cabin, and the Eagles at the South Cabin. Week 1. Make brothers out of strangers. As none of the kids knew each other, artificially creating loyalty towards their group was the main goal in the first week. The researchers created activities that require teamwork and cooperation, such as improving the shelter or getting a truck out of mud. When the groups were informed about each other's presence in the camp, both created their own flag. The first intervention was a success. Group loyalty was formed, but it was soon to be put to the test. Week 2. Make enemies out of friends. The second week kicked off with a series of vicious competitions. They were designed to reward the winner generously, but leave the losers with nothing but the bitter taste of defeat. After the first win by the Eagles in tug-of-war, the Rattlers raided their huts and took all the medals they could find and burned their flag. The disputes that followed were vicious. The second intervention was another success. Now came the grand finale to Muzafer's social conflict theory. Week 3. Make friends out of enemies. After the vicious hostility of Week 2, nothing the researchers were trying was working to reunite the 2 groups. This until Muzafer had the idea of manipulating the water pipe of the camp to block water supply to both cabins. The Rattlers and Eagles, seeing their complaints ignored, started slowly but surely to work together to fix the problem. The final and biggest intervention was a success. Enemy groups can artificially be stopped from fighting each other by finding a shared threat. We see this formula in history. USA and Japan were deadly enemies in WW2, but now are close allies against China. We see it today in the media, the world being united by the vaccine against corona. We will likely see the world unite more and more against climate change, and who knows, maybe one day the whole humanity will be united by a fight against aliens. How can 20 kids stop an army even bigger than 10 million men? Say you wanted to stop the Ukraine-Russia conflict. The size of the Russian army is 3 million and has about 1,200 high-ranking politicians. Ukraine's army has about 1.2 million men and 500 politicians. Find a strong enough threat to unite the soldiers of the 2 countries, and you win peace. Find a common enemy to unite the politicians, and you are the hero that stopped the war. What can unite Russia and Ukraine? Is it selling cheaper gas to Europe? Is it the risk of mutual nuclear destruction? Once the 20 kids would know the threat that can unite the 2 armies, they could spam the internet with memes, get the attention of news channels, go on interviews, and let the 2 rival groups know about the common enemy. This is how even one kid could defeat a 1 million men army. And this is perhaps the biggest lesson of the Robbers Cave experiment by Muzafer Sherif from 1954. Shared dangers force rivals to cooperate. Don't forget to subscribe